Welcome back, everybody, to our spring training show. When it comes to getting healthy, two things are the most important: food and exercise. But where do you start? This is where I started. I just told you this a few minutes ago. Here to talk about what to prioritize first is certified trainer and my guy for over 20 years, Galen Wood. Did you have to do the little dance? That's what you do at the end of every one of my workouts.
But, you know, it's nice to do it.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Well, all kidding aside for a second, I was just talking about my journey, and I told the audience, I picked up the phone, I texted you, and I said, I need help.
Yep.
So if someone's watching, and you've done TV for years, you know this, if someone's watching right now and they can relate to what I said, what's the first thing they should do?
So, and we've talked about this, obviously.
Yeah.
The major thing to look at is you kind of have your short term and your long term. Short term is going to be more focused on food, focus on cardio, focus on lifestyle. Long term is going to be building muscle mass. So that initial process, if you want to try and get in shape as quickly as possible, it's 80% nutrition.
Okay, now let me stop you there, because he's smiling because Galen said that, and I went, what? It is, to you, it is 80% nutrition, 20% exercise.
Yep. Which is actually the noise he does when he does do cardio. It is so enjoyable. It makes my day so much better.
My goal is to entertain you during my workouts.
Goal achieved, yeah.
But no, but it is. It's 80-20.
80-20. I mean, and again, like the numbers, all the numbers that we talk about in exercise are pretty much made up, right? I mean, it's 80-20, 70-30, 90-10. I mean, it depends on where your deficiencies are.
Yeah.
If your nutrition is really good, then the ratios are different, right? But for most people, 80% of any weight loss goal is going to be nutrition, especially short term.
Especially short term. So the number one thing is changing your nutrition. The second thing is burning calories, toning muscles.
Yep. So ideally you change your nutrition because that's going to give you the best results right away. Secondly, you can start working on trying to burn more calories in daily life. One of the easiest things, and I actually had a trainer who recommended this to me for one of my clients, is just to move more. And I know, like, as a trainer,
that seems overly simplistic, but it's the
totally
truth.
well, especially as a trainer, right? Everything I'm doing is like, okay, we got to figure out this exercise and we build this muscle or do this cardio routine or da 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 da. And the reality is, if you can move an extra 10% a day, you're taking that percentage off of your overall metabolic rate, right? And so if your overall metabolic rate is 2,000 calories a day, an extra 10% could net you an extra 200 calories a day just doing random things, right? Walking from your car to the store, and we all know those things. Take the stairs, not the elevators. Elevator.
Yep. Same
or
thing.
Or two.
Or both.
Maybe you live in a very fancy building.
That's right. We have two elevators.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and so then, you know, you're looking at all those things, and focusing on the exercise piece is kind of comes third.
And that, I know you're watching and you're going, what? Because I think for me, when I've tried to jumpstart, I was shocked. And I've worked with you for a long time. I was shocked when I said, what's our first step? And you said, no cardio. You didn't have me do cardio for probably, like right now, I'm just doing, I go out for rogue runs that you don't know about. I do, but I was shocked. But you explained to the folks, I heard you in my head.
Yeah.
Why is cardio kind of second?
Some of it is training your fat metabolism, right? So some of it is if you train your body to metabolize fat more effectively, and you can do that with cardio. It's just easier to do it by eating healthier and by doing more muscle training exercises and stuff like that. But if you focus on those things first, you actually train your body to metabolize body fat, which then when you get into cardio, you're going to metabolize body fat more efficiently, more effectively. The bigger thing, though, is intrinsic motivation, right?
What is that? That's a fancy trainer word.
It actually, it's in the dictionary of fancy trainer. There's four words in the fancy trainer dictionary.
But
that's
what
one
is
of them.
that?
So intrinsic motivation is basically just your body's internal desire to do things. Right? And so the reality is that our body's internal desire in general, and it's nice because I'm just not the only one, is to sit still and eat food. Right? I don't want to necessarily burn extra calories. I don't want to carry around extra muscle mass. I definitely don't want to eat less food than I can. Our body's always going to want to eat more and exercise less. Right? And so we're always going to kind of have that internal desire to do that. And if I've trained my body to metabolize sugar really effectively, right? It's called like a sugar metabolism, which is, again, kind of some made up terms, but the idea there is that my body lives on sugar, which means that when I start to deplete my sugar stores, I crave sugar more. Right?
Okay,
So that's where, like, when we get really hungry, we crave sugar more. So our intrinsic motivation is to eat more sugary foods that start metabolizing on the tongue. They start giving us energy right away, right?
So to kind of go back, to kind of recap, because Galen's going to be here in a little bit. We're going to be doing a segment where Galen's going to be answering all of your questions. But if someone's watching, they want to start right now First thing is change your diet even a little bit, right?
So just eat healthier, right? So we all know the idea of, eat less, exercise more, which is fine, again, short term, but long term, you run into a problem of it's finite, right? You can only eat so little and only exercise so much. So the thing that we always talk about with our clients and with our friends and with our family members and everybody else is eat real food. So the more you can focus on eating real food and then eating less unnecessary foods, right? And so with my kids and I do this, make things worth it. Yeah. Right? So if you're going to eat something unhealthy, make sure it's worth it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, eat food that's really good for you.
Then the second is just move more, whether it's walking. I mean, the number one exercise is walking, so do that 20 to 30 minutes.
Exactly right. And then build muscle mass.
Then build muscle mass. And again, we're going to be walking you through these steps as the weeks go on for spring training. And like I said, coming up in just a little bit, Galen will be answering all of your fitness questions. So that's right. Thank you for that little, and I appreciate that. Galen will be back a little bit later in the hour, but coming up next in our spring training with Jason. Oh, by the way, let me tell people your website. You can, Galen, what is it?
So it's askgalen.fit. If you guys want to ask me a question, if you didn't get your question answered on the show, go to askgalen.fit. Ask it right there.
Perfect.